Hey everybody, this is Dave Tenedorio here with the House of Warriors Martial Arts and Kickboxing in Homestead, Florida, and welcome to our online workshop, the Kids Digital Dangers Workshop, and how we can shift that digital activity to productive activity. Okay, so we're going to get right to it. Let's go on to our next slide here. All right, my story. I thought I'd introduce myself. Again, I'm Dave Tenedorio. I've lived in Homestead all my life. I've been training 30 years in the martial arts. I started out the original House of Warriors here in Homestead, and I started out with Tang Soo-do, a Korean martial art. Now, I started as a teenager. I was 13 years old when I got started, and I wasn't doing too good. My grades weren't great. I was picked on. I was bullied, and really didn't have a lot of confidence. So I got into the martial arts. My confidence went up. I pulled my grades up, and what it did is it taught me to stay focused and not be distracted by the outside influences and keep me going straight through college and beyond. Now, no matter what generation you're on, teenagers are always going to have outside influences that are distractions. So what we're doing is the martial arts teaches you not to fall into those distractionary traps. And by doing that, at age 22, I was able to open my first professional studio. All right, so I'm going to share some mind-blowing facts with you and statistics, things you need to know, and maybe you already do know, and you won't be too shocked by them, but it'll still put things in perspective there for you. 59% of parents feel their teens are addicted to their devices. And if you're watching this video, you feel the same way. You've seen your kids buried in their devices and their phones, and it's frustrating. And you just want to rip it out of their hands, but there are other solutions to that. Okay, let's go to the next statistic here. All right, 78% of teens check their mobile devices hourly, and I'm going to say sometimes even sooner. And I used to be guilty of this. I used to check constantly, and then I had to learn to not do this. It's also addictive behavior that leads into obsession and being obsessive over certain things. So we want to monitor that. Now, if they're checking hourly, you're going to be able to correct that. If they're checking minute by minute by minute, there's something there that we have to address and definitely have to get them on a habit of not doing that. 72% of teens feel an urgent need to immediately respond to texts. And again, I've been guilty of this, but we have to learn that we don't have to respond right away to everything unless it's an emergency, obviously. So if it's not an emergency, we have to teach them that we'll get to it when we get to it, and it's not going to harm the world by not getting to that message. 71% of teenagers who spend 5 hours on electronic devices are more likely to have suicide risk factors than those who spend 1 hour of use or less. Now, that doesn't mean, or I'm not saying that your child is going to commit suicide because they're on their phone for more than a few hours. There's a correlation that when people in general, now adults fall into this too, but it's a little harder for adults versus teenagers. Their brains are still developing and growing. I mean, they're still growing to age 21 if you think about it. And so a lot of this development is being stunted by being exposed too early or too soon or too much to these devices. And if they're on there for more than an hour, they're going to start comparing themselves to other people and their success and their habits, and then they're going to start to question themselves, and that's where the mental gymnastics come in and why they feel the need to do drastic things. Mind blowing, right? Thought I'd throw that in there for you, that little graphic. So yeah, there we go. Now, how do we stop kids from falling into this pattern? Well, one, you're going to monitor use. I mean, let's be honest. You're the parent. They may not like it, but it is what it is. You have to monitor their use. You have to monitor how often they're on it. You have to monitor, when they can go on it. I mean, just that is what it is. Also, lead by example. Monitor your use as well. I've had to do this myself. And you can't tell do as I say is not as I do. It's never effective to do that with any child, especially teenagers. So monitor your own use as well and show them you're making the effort, and they'll see, well, if mom and dad make the effort, I should make the effort too. Create some rules. Okay, create them. Tell them when they can be on, when they can't be on it, when they should be on it, if they get extended time on the weekend, if they've done their chores, whatever it is, set some ground rules and stick to them. If you stick to them, they're going to stick to them as well. Nurture other interests. Now, in that picture, you see it's my kids from the studio here. But it doesn't have to be martial arts. It could be ballet, it could be basketball, baseball, it could be any activity that gets them more active and engages the mind at the same time, so they don't feel drawn to those distractions like devices. Number 5, start family dinner time challenge. Start eating dinners together. And you can see here, no phones. Do not put phones at the dinner table. Turn them off, leave them in the room, whatever. And this was actually started by the Smucker's company, the ones who make jellies and jams. They wanted to bring families together because when families eat together, they converse and magic happens. They all relax, they all start to get calm, and they all start to really enjoy each other's company and want to know what's going on, and they find out. Now, 76% of parents say they learn more from their kids from dinner time or meal time than any other time in the week. And it's because our guard is down and we're going to let more out when we're talking and conversing and having dinner together. They also ask if you do this challenge or movement, let's say, to use "this is mealtime" as a hashtag. All right, suggestion number 6 here. Surround them with activities that are pro self-discovery. For my case, martial arts. I'm going to explain why martial arts are pro self-discovery. This is like a good cutout of the kids in our studio. They're ages 9 through 16 there. So you can see we have quite a good cut of age groups there. Now, especially from ages 10 to about 14, even you could say even 16, they like to be challenged. They like to have something that not just challenges them physically, but can challenge them mentally. So when we do martial arts training, we allow teenagers experiment naturally. That's just their nature, is to experiment. Now, we don't want them experimenting with things that are harmful to them, like drugs, alcohol, or anything like that, but experimenting with something that's safe or fun, but can stimulate their mind, is something you should let them do. So if they want to jump over 5 pads instead of 3, we let them do it. If they want to kick the bag higher today than they did the day before because they want to see if they can do it, we let them do it. We don't hold them back because that's a good experiment and a good challenge for them. Now, also, the martial arts, it teaches them to network and to also build social interactions with fellow members. Now, the kids they may not have seen or talked to in school, now they're talking to them, and they look forward to seeing each other at this little meeting place called a studio, or a dojang in our case, a Korean word for a studio. And now, do they talk on devices later? Probably, yeah. I mean, I have to use a phone. I have to converse on Messenger and all that, but it doesn't mean I'm drawn to it all the time. And in their case, it helps solidify that relationship by saying, "Hey, you're going to the studio today? Yeah, I'll be there. All right, I'm going to be there too." And now you have this great interaction going, and they build social interactions that they can carry outside of the studio in their future everyday life, and they stay focused, and they won't be distracted by those outside influences, we hope, but chances are it'll be less likely because of what they learn here. All right, I want to thank you for joining me at the House of Warriors here, and I'm Dave Tenedorio. If you have any questions about this seminar at all, please give me a call at 501-6943, or you can visit our website as well at warriorsofhomestead.com. Thank you much, guys. I look forward to seeing you. Have a great day.